Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. This is another story time. Oh, I know I didn't title that. This is actually for the LGBT. I think, like I said, on the title, especially saying um, who can carry the baby, especially it's two women, same-sex relationship. And I notice in the community, they always have some kind of statement um, about studs, carrying and all that kind of stuff. They, frown on masculine women, whatever you may call it. And my feelings about it is whoever have a uterus, I don't care what clothes you wear or how you look and everything. Whoever have lady parts or whatever has the right to carry a child, has the right to get pregnant. You know, you have a right no matter what you look like. And I would like to share something with you. This is from a private group. I don't feel comfortable, showing you guys these ladies because their privacy. But however, it sounds like they want to, share their story with the world. And plus, on this film here I got now on my phone, they showing their kids also as well. So I wanted to keep the children also as private as possible. But yeah, so here you go.
And 11, she had two sons of her own. So that it kind of sparked
This is
up
a
the
conversation.
feeling to, want to carry my own child. And she actually encouraged me because at first I asked her if she would carry my child because I didn't want to lose my body. We all say that. We got abs. And, I've been an athlete my whole life. So just the thought of gaining weight and just carrying extra weight
And
and
two of these ladies
the
are
stories I hear
stud,
of how
masculine
you
type,
can't lose your
whatever
baby
you
fat.
call it.
It was kind of scary, but she even expressed how beautiful it is for a woman to carry their own child if they can.
Mm-hmm.
So watching how she was raising her own sons and just the unconditional love her sons had for her, I said, I really do want to experience this, and that's what made me want to carry my own baby. So, all right. Thank you, Sarah. You're welcome. You go ahead and do the same. Introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from, your age, and what made you want to have and carry your own baby.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is T. I'm originally from Illinois, currently residing in Georgia, right outside of Georgia, in Leesburg, Georgia, actually, to be exact. I'm 40 years old, just turned 40 last June. So that's part of the reason
They don't look
that
their
prompted
age.
me to
They
go
don't look
ahead and
nothing
carry
their
my own
age.
child. Like Sarah said, I've always had a passion and a love for children. At a very early age, a lot earlier than my teenage years, my mom used to be concerned. At times, we'd be in a grocery store when I was like 9 or 10. I'd be like, "Oh, mom, look at the baby," and I just always had this sense of wanting to nurture a child and have children of my own. But I was terrified at the thought of what it took to get pregnant because, as you know now, technology and the science and everything is a lot different and more advanced than what it was so many years ago. And then also just what it takes to go through it, and then being the type of woman that I am. I've always been a tomboy, always been into sports. I was a daddy's girl, but I was a daddy's girl because he loved that I embraced all the things that the little boys did that my brothers just wasn't so into. So um, just been within several different relationships and had discussions about them carrying the child, and it was something that never just actually worked out. And then I'd see all these relationships where masculine women like myself would get attached to other women's children and they would leave. And I was like, I couldn't deal with that kind of heartbreak. And the very last breakup that I had, we had actually discussed about her carrying a child, and my family was going to accept that child as my blood child as well. And it didn't work out. And then with me getting older, I think I was 36 when I decided, okay, enough is enough. I don't want to wait too long and regret not doing it myself. So that's how I ended up, making that decision to carry a child on my own.
Thank you for sharing that. Actually, one of the things you mentioned is something I'd like to talk about for a little bit. The concept of a masculine woman generally being in a relationship with a woman who already has children and taking on a parental role in that relationship. What happens when that relationship ends? I've seen it happen multiple times. We actually had a very popular post on the blog where a woman shared her experience where she was very scared of losing access to the children that she basically raised since they were very small children. So the fact that you brought up that this was a concern for you and having the experience of the relationship not working out, it definitely is probably one of the reasons that more masculine women should consider having their children. Not to say that the relationship may not work out in the end, but just because life sometimes happens and you don't really have any control over what the other person does. But a child that you've actually carried yourself is your blood relation, and wherever the relationship goes, that's your baby, basically.
Right.
Was that a concern for you as well, Sarah? Did you ever have those questions about getting attached to a child, your partner's child, and if the relationship ended, what would you do?
Yes, absolutely. I met my boys when they were 6 and 7. They're 16 and 17 now, and maybe about a year and a half into my relationship with my wife, she was just my girlfriend at the time. We broke up for about 5 months, and it was pretty bad, and I wasn't able to see the boys, and the situation, I had to go to therapy because once you get attached to kids, it's really hard to let go. The kids, they're the ones that's innocent. So it's something to really think about. I think when it comes to any woman that wants children, they should really consider carrying their own child. But yeah, it was pretty bad.
I know someone who's going through this right now, and they're both feminine presenting. Of course, it doesn't really matter what the outside looks like. What matters is the heart. You love a child and then raise them from birth. This is one of my friends. She raised this child from birth, and like I think 6 months or something like that. And the relationship isn't working out, and so now they have to, they have to deal with separating and letting the child go. You also mentioned a little bit earlier on about the concerns you may have with carrying. Did any of you have a concern or a worry about what it would look like to be a masculine woman carrying a baby in this society? I mean, already, you got to be real strong to be like, yep, I'm a woman in men's clothing, but now you a pregnant woman in men's clothing. Was that a concern for any of you?
T, you can go ahead. Okay. Not so much as what people thought about how I look, but more so my reaction to it, because I have a temper, and I express when people are looking at me a certain type of way. And when you're carrying a child, you have to be extremely protective. You can't just think about you. You have to think about the child that's in your stomach. And I talked to one of my closest friends when I first was considering carrying myself, and I talked to my family. And once they were okay with it, it really didn't too much matter what anyone else thought. I knew I was going to get the side eyes from straight and, gay and lesbian people, which I did. But I knew what I wanted, so I had to try to ignore it. So it wasn't so much a concern as to, I already knew the looks and the questions and the side eyes would come. It was just, how am I going to handle reacting to that and adjusting to just keeping myself calm and kind of ignoring it? More of my issues. I think I was more self-conscious more than anything, because I was so used to dressing dominant, but also I'm very androgynous. So I do have a feminine side to me, not necessarily dressing feminine, but I can't pull it off. I feel like, and I wouldn't feel as uncomfortable
because I'm very comfortable in boy clothes. But when my belly started getting bigger and bigger, I think I was worried about more how I looked than someone else. You know, um, I think by the time I was about maybe 5 or 6 months, I just started wearing leggings everywhere. I started wearing leggings and just some tennis shoes. And the beginning of my pregnancy, I was wearing leggings, and I even threw on some pumps. And yeah, I can send you guys some pictures later. But it was kind of uncomfortable. But when I tried to throw on my boy pants, and I realized I was gaining so much weight, I didn't want to invest in more boy. I was already getting big, so buying even bigger clothes on the boy side, it was just going to make me look even bigger. So therefore, I think I was forced to get in tune with my femininity. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I think I was worried about how I look more than the actual world, and everybody told me I was beautiful, and I just soaked it in.
Yeah, I love that. What about you, T? Did you? I know you said that you were more concerned about having a temper, but did you feel like you had to? Did you buy maternity clothing? Now that we're kind of like shifting to that subject, did you? Kimberly has a question. We're going to take the question in a minute, Kimberly. But what about you? How did you adjust to getting pregnant and to gaining weight and then like having a certain athletic physique? And then what do? You go to the maternity section? No, so not at first. So at first I just tried to tough it out. I was still trying to squeeze into those Levi's jeans. And it just got to the point where my stomach was too big, and I was uncomfortable looking at myself because it just, I guess, your brain my brain anyway, was kind of brainwashed into thinking a woman like me is supposed to look like I hadn't seen any pregnant studs before in person. So when I looked in the mirror, I'm like, this looks, you typically see feminine women pregnant. So I didn't wear women's clothes, but I think once I got about 6-7 months, I had to go. They had these stretchable pants, maternity pants with the little belly strap, and they were extremely comfortable. I hated the way they looked, but I'm like, look, I got this whole 7-pound baby in my stomach. Like, I want to be comfortable. So I got the maternity pants, but I still was wearing like my collared shirts, and I'd wear very loose polo shirts. But that's it. I toughed it out. I looked weird to myself, but that's not the farthest I went. I did get some of the legging maternity jeans. They're jegging, I guess that's what they call them. Yeah. Belly swoop. Yeah. Yep. I have a question. So I don't know what your work environment was like, but if you had to go into like a professional setting or corporate setting, did you ever have to do that at all? So at the time, I wasn't in the leadership role that I'm in now, but I did work in the office. But I had the luxury of being on this job for several years, so a lot of the people that I work with are kind of like family and friends to me. So they have known how much I've wanted a child. And of course, I'm the only lesbian in the office, and they've always encouraged me, T, you should just have your own baby. So once they found out I was trying, they were very, very excited, very supportive. And they even threw me a baby shower. I had like 2 baby showers, one at work and one with my family. So I was blessed to have the work family that I have. But they was extremely supportive. Sorry, y'all. I had to go. I realized that I hadn't turned my other lights on. It was getting dark in here, so I ran over to turn the light on. My bad. Okay, awesome. Kimberly, you have a question, girl. Let me go ahead and unmute you so you can ask your question. You still there, Kimberly?
Oh, I'm here, but my kids are in the background, so I know y'all don't like when the kids are in the background. So if you want to read my question, just read my question to them.
I can hear you. I can hear the babies in the background.
Okay.
So lately, I've been. Hang on one second. That's me, girl.
Lately, I've been reading about the disparities women in our community face in regards to healthcare. Did any of you experience any discrimination or assumptions from your OBGYNs during your pregnancy or before you got pregnant and were considering your options?
That's a pretty good question. I don't necessarily think I experienced any discrimination. My actual OBGYN, his whole team was actually pretty good. The very first time, well, when we started looking into pregnancy and looking for our donor, etc., we had a lot of questions about the insurance and how that would actually work. I actually did IUI, and my insurance did cover my IUI procedure. Of course, I did. Me and my wife, we just paid for our sperm. But as far as discrimination, I know I do remember them telling me that it was going to cost a little bit more money because I am in a lesbian relationship, and I'm not trying to do it the natural way with a man. So that was the only disheartening part of my situation. I mean, it worked itself out. But I don't think that if you want to call that discrimination, that you can, I guess you can call that discrimination. But I think that's the only thing that I probably experienced.
Interesting. What about you, T?
Yeah, I didn't experience any discrimination while carrying her, not within like my healthcare and insurance or anything. I have a really good midwife, and she was, I kind of shared a little bit of my background with her because for me, it was everything about being pregnant was extremely uncomfortable. Just being touched, examined. In my personal life, I haven't been at, I used to be a touch me not. And then I opened up, later in life, but there were certain things that I was still uncomfortable with, just a random, aside from going to get my regular paps and checkups. Just frequently, because when you're pregnant, once you get closer to giving birth, they're checking you every week, looking at you all up in there, and checking
it's
everything.
Uncomfortable.
So it was very uncomfortable for me, but I had a really good team, and they were, I didn't have any kind of discrimination other than, and it wasn't discrimination, it was just, I don't know what you would call it. One of the nurses that had to, I got induced to start dilating. And I was explaining to her that, I haven't had much interaction in there to try to be gentle. And she's like, "You pregnant? What do you mean you don't have any interaction down there?" And she was really rough with me. And that kind of was the first part of me starting to go into labor and everything. And it was just, she was very inconsiderate and very rough. So that kind of broke my spirit because that was the beginning of me about to have birth. And I was like, if these are going to be the nurses that are here helping, assist with me delivering a child, what is the whole experience going to be like, So, but not any discrimination with insurance or doctors or anything like that.
So she probably made an assumption that, you were having a baby, so you must have had sex with a man in order to...
Oh, yeah, she made it very clear that was her assumption. Yeah.
Well, let's do this. Let's transition to the next question, which Sarah touched on that a little bit. How did you get pregnant? Because one of the challenges that kind of happens with lesbians, regardless of your presentation, whenever a lesbian gets pregnant, people just minds are blown. They're like, how? I even put there was a couple who generously, they're both kind of femme presenting. They created a video on YouTube called "How to Get a Lesbian Pregnant," and then they asked me to share it on my blog, and I shared it because over and over again, I would hear people say, "Well, how is she a lesbian and have kids?" Or, and we know that
there's other ways, people.
They had children with
you don't always need a man. You don't need a man. You don't have to have sex with a man to get pregnant.
Had children by getting a known donor or going to a sperm bank or whatever. But I'm curious to know, number one, how did you get pregnant, and how did you deal with the side eyes, if there were any, from people in our own community who may have made assumptions about your sexuality because you were pregnant?
Okay.
Well, like I said earlier, my procedure was the IUI procedure. Do you guys know what that is?
Mm-mm.
Actually, I do not know. So it'd be awesome if you would explain that to some folks. I'm sure know, but I do not know what it is. Gotcha. So the difference between an IUI and an IVF. So with the IUI, um, your insemination, they open you up, they plant the sperm in you, and it's that simple. With the IVF, that's when they take the eggs out, they inseminate the eggs, they put the eggs back in you, and they say it's an 80-20 chance. So the IVF is an 80% chance. They say the IUI is a 20% chance. But the financial difference is IVF costs a lot more than the IUI, of course. I'm a woman of faith. Me and my wife went the cheap way out, of course. But also, before we even started the process of, we went to our fertility specialist, and they took my blood work. They actually found polyps on my ovaries. So before we even started the process, I had to have surgery to get those polyps removed. He mentioned to me and my wife that even if I was sleeping with a man, or even if we tried the process at home, I would have never got pregnant because of those polyps. I learned a lot about my body, about the woman body during this whole process. So after they removed my polyps, maybe about a month or two later, we did the first insemination, and it didn't take. I didn't get pregnant. The second time it took, but they told me I had to. My insurance would have covered the IVF, but I had to fail 6 times with the IUI before they can insure me for the IVF. Yeah. It was a beautiful experience. If I had to do it again, I would. Of course, I love my baby. There was a second part of your question, though, that you asked that I don't remember. Can you? Oh, absolutely. So the second part was, so how did you deal with people making assumptions about sexuality because you were a lesbian who was pregnant? Right. Now, when I got pregnant, it shocked the whole world. Well, the world that I know, the people that I know, it shocked the whole world because everybody expected my wife to carry the baby, of course. There's a young lady on Instagram. She has a podcast as well, and she has a really big following. I think she has close to about 80 to 90,000 followers. And I shared a picture of one of my maternity pics with me, my wife, and my 2 sons. She actually shared the picture, and it started a whole conversation, and it was so many naysayers under the post. So, it did shock the world. I got a lot of negativity. I got a lot of negativity from a lot of strangers because it didn't look to them. It didn't look right. People started calling me names. People started saying, "Why is that man pregnant?" It was very heartbreaking. But of course, we got through it. But I also had a lot of support.
Wow, people had to be so
I also had a lot of support. I got a lot of love. It started a lot of conversations. It helped educate a lot of people. I have so many messages in my inbox where a lot of dominant or masculine or studs, what you would call us, they reached out to me and asked me, what made you even want to, carry your own child? I'm very scared. Can you enlighten me on the situation? How did you go about doing it? I love to help people. I love to give out helpful information. So I think that's what helped make the experience so beautiful. But I had a lot of naysayers, but hey, I got my baby, so I don't even care. Right. I got my baby. I love that attitude. But so do you feel like you got more naysayers from people in the lesbian community more so than outside of our community? No. I think if I did, I didn't see it or I didn't hear it, but uh, the community, I'm really big in my community in Charlotte, and I had a lot of support. A lot of support. I didn't really hear any negativity that came from the LGBT community at all. If anything, women like me and T, they came to me for support and for help, if anything. So I was very proud of the LGBT community. From the naysayers, that the things that I was hearing came from a lot of strangers, of course. I would say it probably been the straight community. If they was gay, I didn't know. But from the LGBT community, no, I'm very proud of my community. They supported me hard.
Wow.
Very hard. Yeah.
Hear that. What was your experience like? Number one, how did you get pregnant? And how did you deal with any questions?
I love her story here.
About your sexuality once you became pregnant. Okay, so I did a lot of research, watched a lot of YouTube videos, and like I said, the relationship prior to me deciding to carry on my own, we had reached out to doctors and had been going forward with my partner at the time, supposed to carry, and I would help raise as if it was my child. So I had a lot of knowledge and education on how to do it, but I ended up doing it at home. I have a known donor, and at the time where I decided to do it, I wasn't with my partner that I'm with now. So she came in right as I was saying, look, I've made this decision. I don't know how you feel about it, but I've decided that I wanted to carry my own child. And she was against it totally at first. She's a feminine woman, and she's a child. Her son is 11 now. It's 3 years ago he came in my life when he was 7, 8. So she was like, oh, why don't you just let me, carry for you? And I was like, I've talked to my family, I've talked to my closest friends, and I'm set on this. I've dealt with, multiple women that said, let me carry for you, and then it doesn't work out, and then I'm back at square one. So she wasn't supported at first, but I ended up doing it at home. I did it 3 times. The first time she wasn't there. The second 2 times she was. And what we did was I took a syringe. The person actually did his business in a sandwich bag. The first time he did it, he used a condom, and it didn't work. The second time I researched, there's spermicides and different things in condom that can kill the sperm. So we used a sandwich bag and a syringe. And it's very uncomfortable and embarrassing how I did it, but I literally took the syringe with the sperm in it and put it in me, but didn't eject it in me at the time, because they say if you stimulate yourself to have an orgasm, you're supposed to, as you're having an orgasm, push the sperm through then, because your body kind of sucks it up as you're having an orgasm. But she was there in the living room at the time trying to arouse me. It was, like I said, it was very uncomfortable. I was laying on the couch with my buttocks propped up and my head kind of lower on the couch. I put a couple pillows under my butt and did it. Like I said, the 3rd time is when it worked. But it was very uncomfortable for me. It was awkward with her being there because we had maybe been talking for about 2 months. And I was like, if you're gonna be here, you're gonna help me. So the 3rd time that I did it, it actually worked, and I was shocked that it was work, because I was just like, okay, I did all the things they said to do in the videos, what the doctor said to do, and it wasn't working. And then when I thought it didn't work, I was feeling sick, and my mom's like, you might be pregnant. I'm like, Mom, it didn't work. I'm not pregnant. And I was like, I had been buying pregnancy tests all throughout the process, because my sister at the time was trying to conceive as well. And she told me there's a fertility app that you can download, and based on when you have your cycle, it'll calculate the days when you should try. So that's how I was tracking everything, and I ended up taking a pregnancy test anyway, and it came through that I was pregnant. I was literally sitting there on the toilet, like in shock. I had a Doberman Pinscher at the time, and I literally was like screaming to myself, I'm pregnant. The dog was just looking at me crazy, and I actually was in shock that it actually worked, and that it scared me then. But yeah, it was a very uncomfortable process, and I started I did a documentary when I first started trying, just handling the sperm, trial and error, sperm running down your leg,
Oh
having to
God.
kind of do
Ugh.
the rodeo walk to the shower. It was disgusting for me, actually. But everything that I did was worth it, you know. And then because I did it at home, that's more reason why I got a lot of, oh yeah, right, that didn't work. You know, you probably was sneaking, what they call it, dick diking and sneaking dick, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I knew how I did it and everything. So I didn't really care what people said. It didn't bother me.
Got it. You know, you brought up something that I wanted to address. I also wanted, but before I get to that question, I'd love to know, Sarah, when you and your wife discovered that you were pregnant, what was that moment like? Tell us about the moment, because T gave us details about the moment, girl.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get some. Somebody asked me if I had additional lighting.
Yeah.
Is that better?
It is better.
It is better. Okay, good.
We'll work with it. Yeah.
So the very first time, I did the procedure, it didn't take, and I fell into a deep depression for about 2 weeks. So I told my doctor, I said, you know what, I want to take a month off. They shut my ovaries down, and I didn't have a period. So the second time I went in to do the procedure, there was a different doctor that actually inseminated me. And, when she came in, I had a long prayer with her. I said, listen, let me back up a little bit. So the first time it didn't take, I started doing extreme research. As far as the foods I ate, I got with an acupuncturist. I think it was the acupuncturist that actually changed a lot of things for me in my mindset. She promised me when I walked in, she said, I'm going to get you pregnant. I'm going to teach you a lot about your body. Right? So I went to an acupuncturist for about 3 weeks. Right? So when I went in to do my second procedure, I told the doctor, I said, listen, I really want to get pregnant. I'm going to pray with you. And when she inseminated me, I said, I want to completely forget about it. I said, I want to go on with my life. I want to go back outside and play basketball with my boys. I don't even want to think about it. It's just like, look at her. She is beautiful. Oh, she's beautiful.
I can hear her.
And she's your twin, too.
They showing off the kids.
So I forgot about everything. So about 2 weeks later, it was October 15th. It was actually the day of my father-in-law's birthday. I was in the bed, and my wife said, you should really go take a pregnancy test. I said, okay, cool. So we had the little dollar pregnancy test from Dollar Tree, right? So I went in the bathroom, and I peed on the stick. I actually gave it to my wife. She went in the kitchen and she put it up to the light, and she seen a very faint line. She said, baby, I think you're pregnant. I was like, nah, that line not strong enough for me. I don't think so. She said, no, I think you're pregnant. I said, nah. I said, go get me another test. So she went and got me about 3 more tests. They all said the same thing. And I still kept doubting. I said, nah, I don't think I'm pregnant. Right? I said, so the last test, I said, please go to the store and get me one of those tests that reads pregnant or not pregnant. I want to see the words, right? So she went to the store, came back. We were both in the bathroom, and I said, okay, I'm going to pee on the stick. I said, after that, I'm going to walk out the bathroom. If I'm pregnant, I need you to scream as loud as you can. She said, okay. So I peed on the stick. I left her in the bathroom. Maybe about 4 to 5 seconds later, I just heard the loudest scream.
Aww.
And I was like, shut up. And it blew my mind. I said, I'm really pregnant? Like, for real? I'm pregnant? And so that evening, we went and met our whole family, which is my wife's side of the family. We went to meet at a restaurant for her father's birthday.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that, you guys. Those are 2 wonderful stories about, 2 studs in 2 different relationships, have their own each baby, and they didn't care what society had to say, um, how a woman should look, carrying and all that kind of stuff. So I am very proud of them. They fought through stereotypes and stuff like that. It's such a shame that in the LGBT community, even though we all women, we got the same thing. We all can get pregnant. I don't understand why we being stereotyped. Masculine women, carrying a child. I don't understand why. Why are we being stereotyped? I don't understand that. I don't get it. And my question is, uh, I know I need to do some more research, but is it just in the black race that all this mess is going on? I just asking. I mean, it's other races experiencing this in the LGBT community also as well. That's my question. I don't know. I know I need to get some more knowledge about that. But you guys, whoever, thank you for listening. This helped me. I hope this helps somebody else too. Y'all have a blessed day.